Barakatuh. We have some sad news to share. As many of you may know by now, Brother Marcellus Williams, also known as Mujahid Khalifa, who was executed today by the state of Missouri. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. There's a lot of thoughts that come to mind and to share, but as I was on my way here, I actually called Imam Jalali Qasim, Imam from Darul Jalal, who was pre-approved as his spiritual guide. So my understanding is that he is the only one that was allowed to visit him, other than family, and he was with him today. And so I called him, and he was on his way back from Jefferson City, and I asked him to share what happened today. So he first off shared a lot of interesting details that I myself learned for the first time. I did not know. Many of us may have been following the case mostly in the past month or so when we saw messages, petitions, etc. being sent out. A lot of us probably were not even aware of what's going on. So he said that he told him that he actually accepted Islam a long time ago. So maybe 20, 30 years ago, if you see, it says that he accepted Islam. What it doesn't say is that actually he said that he did not start practicing Islam really until maybe 2010 or so. That's when he really started practicing Islam. He really started to get into it. And he began to study. And, Imam Jalali was telling me that very quickly he was extremely knowledgeable. He was not an ordinary person. And if you look in the news articles right now and media coverage is all over it, they're saying that he was an imam for the correctional facility. He was not an imam in the traditional trained sense that he went to a seminary or madrasa or a jamia or university and he was a scholar or an imam in that sense. But very quickly on his own, he began to study Islam to the point that he would quote and say from Tafsir al-Sa'di, for example, which is tafsir. Those that have studied a bit of tafsir that know, it's quite a dense work. You need to be able to access Arabic to open it, to go through it. And he'd cite it. And he was actively engaged, and he was the one that would lead and oversee all of what's happening in the prison in terms of Jumu'ah, Salah, educating others, taking care of them, to the point that he's became known as the Imam there, literally. And that's why interfaith groups, in their petitions, what they're starting it off with is that it's not only him, he is the shepherd to his flock, meaning the people there, the Muslims there, they rely on him. So he said that background in mind, I had already seen that, but when I went today, and I was thinking he's scared, maybe he's going to complain, and he said, Wallahi, he did not say one word of complaining. And when I went to him and I saw him, he's calm, he's relaxed, it's nothing worrying, and I was talking to him that, aren't you worried or anything? And he said, no, I'm perfectly okay. And he said, I, from my own side, was telling him about istiqamah, right? About steadfastness. He's trying to explain to him. And the reality is we talk about istiqamah and the ayat of istiqamah, but how are you going to tell someone who's actually going through the istiqamah, right? We talk about it and we're going to go home. And he tells me, he's like, no, trust me, I know about istiqamah. Because I'll tell you an ayah from Surah Al-Ahqaf. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا فَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. He's citing this to him. He's saying those that believe in Allah, الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ, they say our Rabb is Allah. ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا, and then they have istiqamah, they're steadfast in whatever comes in their way. فَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. What do they have to worry about? لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ, there's no khawf, there's no fear. The scholars of tafsir say fear is for the future, and there's no huzn. Huzn, grief, is for the past. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to be scared about. And he begins to tell me, he said, have you heard about the story of the Ashab Yasin, Ashab al-Qarya, meaning the people of the village who were advising, who were sent as messengers, and the man that joined them, the only man from the people they were sent to, that supported these messengers. The story is mentioned in Surah Yasin at the beginning. And he begins to tell me that, do you know about these ayat? And you know what he says? يَا لَيْتَ قَوْمِي يَعْلَمُونَ. If only my people knew. بِمَا غَفَرَ لِي رَبِّي وَجَعَلَنِي مِنَ الْمُكْرَمِينَ. And he's citing to me. And so he said, I understood this man, he does not need anyone to come and teach him istiqamah. He's already there. And the reality is, dear brothers and sisters, we don't think of people that are in that position of having this capability. If you could tell someone that this person has the capacity to be a wali of Allah, we'd have a hard time believing it. And if it's not maybe for the media coverage, or if it's not for the push on this case, or how it's highlighted, other cases, maybe deep down, we won't really even consider this person to be a wali of Allah, to be a friend of Allah, to be someone close to Allah. And so he said, he was calm, he had his meals, and he prayed 2 rak'ahs. And the picture that we're all seeing that's viral, that he wrote, that all praise is to Allah for everything. He said it in Arabic to him, Alhamdulillahi ala kulli shay. That Alhamdulillah, all praises to Allah in everything. And he said the last words, he wanted to make sure that he said it before he was executed. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Those were his shahada, were his last words. And that's what he said. And then he said, Imam, listen to me. My last wish is that these brothers that are here, look after them. And me talking to him, I'm thinking that the reality of this man leaving, and he's only concerned about the people there with him. What's going to happen with him? That's like the perfect combination. He has istiqamah, he's citing these ayat about meeting Allah, about how he's firm. If you saw the interview with his son yesterday, his son said, my father's not scared. And he has that istiqamah, he has that rida, he's content. And he said multiple times, his son said that my father said, what's written for me is written for me. I'm okay with it. I'm happy with Allah's qada. That's him, between him and Allah. Right? We talk about huququllah, that's it. You get that straight. And by the way, he was very fixated on aqeedah. He hung on to that a lot, because a lot of people who are in this situation, they actually practice the aqeedah we talk about. Like the tawheed we talk about, like the tawakkul we like to talk about. We talk about it, but they have to hold on to that or their iman goes. You have two options. Either you hold on to tawakkul, rida, being content, bring that into your life and into your heart, or there's nothing left for you. You leave cursing, complaining, unhappy with things. Things are straight with Allah. And secondly, he said these brothers, look after them. And the reality is, dear brothers and sisters, we have failed in that regard. If you look around and you see what we are putting our resources into, what our efforts, our time, and our money is being put into, things that are an absolute waste of time, things that are of no benefit to us, to our communities, to our families. And even though we've been hearing about Gaza, and we've been hearing about all of the pain of the Muslim world, which is supposed to wake us up. And by the way, he had written a poem about Gaza, about the children of Gaza. Naturally, he could relate. Only someone in that situation could relate in that way. But the priority that he has while he's leaving, he's only worried about these people's iman. And if you look around us, all of our Muslim brothers and sisters, most of them who accepted Islam there after they made unfortunate choices. Some of them completely innocent, wrongly charged. Many of them, even if they did their crimes, but they changed their ways later. And they're there. And he's worried at the last moments about these people. That's who he's advising, saying, take care of the brothers. That, in essence, all of what we've studied Islam and we've learned Islam since we were kids, almost all of us being raised Muslim, being born Muslim, stuff that we are supposed to embody and teach. This man who came way later, accepted Islam way later and left way earlier, he has them straight. And that's the summary of Islam. He had things right with Allah, he had things right with those around him. And so this is, as we make dua for him, as our emotions are raw, we think about him, we see everywhere social media is talking about him. Really, what was his last wish? If we really care, if we really care about his case, what did he want from everyone? He wanted people to be aware. And to be unjustly imprisoned is just one of the many things that many from the black community they face. And we are out of touch with that. And we live in our own bubbles. We don't think too deeply about these things. Many of them, they join our community, they become Muslims, they don't have that support. And people like this, who would have otherwise, if it was not for the media attention, gone unnoticed, Allah brings them perhaps to our attention so that we wake up, so that we think, so that we make a plan about what am I doing with my time, so that when we meet Allah on the Day of Judgment, Allah knows if we have an end like that or not. It's such a beautiful, heroic end, right? You're able to say the Shahada, you're able to pray 2 rak'ahs, you're citing the Quran. Maybe, and we hope that Allah gives us the ending, but we can't guarantee it. But such a person that's given that, perhaps it's due to their ikhlas, due to their sincerity, due to how they were true with Allah, and so Allah allowed for that truth to be manifest. And so, dear brothers and sisters, as we make dua for him, think about his last words, think about that advice, think about what we can do for those that are unjustly imprisoned, for those that are facing the various different types of dhulm around us, how we can stand up for them, how we can use our money, our time, our resources for that which is actually productive for the Muslim community, that can actually be heavy on our scales in front of Allah Azza wa Jal. And so we ask Allah Azza wa Jal, He forgive him, He raise his ranks, He grant him Jannatul Firdaus, and He make us from those that follow in his legacy. Allahumma ighfir li abdika Mujahid Khalifa, Allahumma ighfir lahu warham, وعافه واعف عنه وأكرم نزله ووسع مدخله ووسع مدخله اللهم اجعل قبره روضة من رياض الجنة ولا تجعله حفرة من حفر النار. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, our dear brother, Ya Allah, Mujahid Khalifa, who just passed away, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, we ask that you accept his shahada, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, the life that he lived, Ya Allah, out of love for you and your Habib sallallahu alayhi wasallam, firm and true to the principles of the deen. Ya Allah, accept that from him, O Allah. O Allah, O Allah, forgive his shortcomings, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, forgive his shortcomings. O Allah, O Allah, O Allah, all of the sacrifices that he had to go through, the pain that he had to go through, O Allah, the injustice, Ya Allah, give him the best compensation for that on the Day of Judgment. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, the Muslim Ummah, Ya Allah, that are in a similar vein. People, Ya Allah, across in our own country, around the world, wherever they are, from Gaza to Sudan to the countries, Ya Allah, are endless to name, all around the Muslim world that are struggling, that are going through injustice, Ya Allah, alleviate them of their injustice, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, those of them that have passed away, Ya Allah, accept their martyrdom, O Allah. O Allah, O Allah, make us from those, Ya Allah, that are not deaf and dumb and blind to these examples, Ya Allah. Make us from those, Ya Allah, that take heed, O Allah. Make us from those that wake up, O Allah, and use our resources for what is best for the Muslim Ummah, O Allah. Make us from those, Ya Allah, that have a beautiful khatima, husn khatima, a beautiful ending to see, O Allah. Make us from those that pass away on La ilaha illallah. Make us from those that are steadfast on La ilaha illallah until the last moment. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Inshallah, his Salatul Janaza will be here at Darul Islam Masjid. It is estimated to be here at Dhuhr time, but that is not confirmed. So please wait until the official announcement. And our IFG Steel Funeral Home is working with them to take possession of the body, etc. Once everything is complete, inshallah, his Janazah Salah will be announced. Please do make it a point to attend, inshallah ta'ala.